A simple experiment or demonstration to confirm that charge equals capacitance times potential difference is to charge a capacitor and then connect it to a coulomb meter for a range of potential differences. Here I'm adjusting a smooth DC power supply to give me approximately 1 volt, which is charging my capacitors, and then I can unplug the connection to the capacitors and touch it onto the coulomb meter, and that transfers the charge onto the coulomb meter, and I can see for 1 volt I'm getting about 190 nanocoulombs. Once I've done that, I'm ready to reconnect the capacitor to the power supply, reset the coulomb meter to 0, and then adjust the power supply to get my next potential difference, here about 2 volts, and then I can unplug the connection to the power supply, touch onto the coulomb meter, and here for 2 volts I was getting about 350 nanocoulombs. Now I just need to keep repeating that, getting about 515 with 3 volts, 681 nanocoulombs with 4 volts, about 854 nanocoulombs with 5 volts, about 1025 nanocoulombs with 6 volts, about 1195 nanocoulombs with 7 volts, and about 1364 nanocoulombs with about 8 volts. Plotting that on a graph gives me a straight line through the origin, so that's looking promising for confirming that Q equals CV, and if I find the gradient, that should give me the capacitance. So let's draw in a large triangle and find the gradient, which is the change in the vertical divided by the change in the horizontal, which is about 1350 nanocoulombs divided by 8 volts, which gives me about 170 nanofarads or 0.17 microfarads. But when I check the capacitance of my 2 capacitors in series, which I used using a multimeter that measures capacitance, I get a capacitance of about 230 nanofarads or 0.23 microfarads. So clearly there's some sort of systematic error going on here. This could lead to an interesting discussion with students about what had caused this systematic error. The manual of the capacitance meter which I used carefully explains the problem, which is that the coulomb meter has an input capacitance of 1 microfarad. And that means that the charge will be shared with the capacitor that I charged and that 1 microfarad capacitor, which are effectively connected in parallel. This diagram can help to see what's going on. So when I connect my 0.230 microfarad capacitance to the 1 microfarad capacitance of the coulomb meter, not all of the charge will transfer to the coulomb meter from my capacitor, but some of the charge will be left behind. In fact, the charge will be shared in proportion to the capacitance of the total capacitance, and therefore the coulomb meter will only get 1 over 1.23 of the charge which it should have done. And that means the capacitance that I get for this method should be 1 over 1.23 of the real capacitance. And if I calculate 1 over 1.23 of the 0.230 microfarad capacitance, that gives me 0.187 microfarads, which is close to the 0.170 microfarads that I got from my graph. So I think we've satisfactorily explained the systematic error. I'll now explain briefly how to set this up if you want to try this experiment for yourself. So you'll need a smoothed DC power supply, and then you'll need to connect that to your capacitor. I used 2 capacitors in series because I didn't have a small enough capacitor, and that reduced the total capacitance. But ideally, you'd have maybe a 0.1 microfarad capacitor. The other end of the capacitor is then connected back to the negative terminal of the power supply. A multimeter set to measure potential difference or voltage is then connected in parallel to the power supply, and the negative terminal of the coulomb meter is also connected to the negative terminal of the power supply. To charge up the capacitor, you simply turn on your power supply, and then when you're ready, you pull out the lead from the positive terminal of the power supply and touch it or plug it into the coulomb meter and leave it a short time to transfer the charge. You'll also need to reset the coulomb meter to 0 by pressing the 0 button between each reading. Anyway, I hope you found this video interesting and it encourages you to try this experiment.